Hey guys, welcome to my brand new geopolitical channel, Forces of Fascism and Freedom. Most of us have been sleepwalking, while for decades our rights and freedoms have been eroded. Corruption and the deep state have reigned supreme for decades. Forces of fascism are prevailing in many countries, including NATO countries and the great democracy of America. The global push for a new world order is here. Right now is the time for a great awakening of humanity. Our world needs a bottom-up movement instead of a top-down fascism. We need a democratic revival. The Chinese Communist Party has bribed the President of the United States. Here's a really poignant clip from another. Here it is here.
150 suspicious activity reports as money was transferred to several different accounts that were run by Hunter Biden, as we know from the evidence on the laptop. If they stonewall you, will you hold them in contempt?
We'll do everything we can to get the answers. And you mentioned those bank records. You know, the amazing thing that we've been able to determine thus far is how many different transactions into different accounts and how many different LLCs that Hunter Biden had, that he was doing, quote, consulting work for other people who were getting million-dollar payments directly from the CCP into their account. I mean, this isn't the most complex investigation.
Wow, that's beautiful.
You know, investigating the Biden family is about like tracking a bleeding bear through a snowstorm. There's evidence.
What did he just say? Track a bleeding bear through the snowstorm. Okay, this is pretty obvious, right? Well said by James Comer. Pretty clear what's going on.
I would point out that this family has been involved in the influence peddling scheme for decades. And this is very concerning. And I think that the American people are getting a taste of this with the fact that these documents were strowed in so many different locations. Does anyone believe that those classified...
So one of the locations is the University of Pennsylvania that received $50 million in basic contributions from the Chinese Communist Party. So that's pretty amazing.
Documents, when they left the vice president's office, they just took them to multiple locations all over the East Coast.
Yeah.
And it has the appearance that someone would have taken them and moved them around. I mean, this is very concerning. Hopefully the Secret Service is going to work with us. We're requesting tomorrow formally any type of correspondence.
But anyway, you saw copies right off of Hunter Biden's laptop, some of these diamonds that he was receiving. And so that's like a tip of the iceberg, basically. But here's a question here that she asks. Is pretty...
Is this treason?
It's very concerning.
It's
we're
something.
not going to let up. I think that we've got plenty of information to move forward.
All right. So yeah, I put this is for some other episode here, but basically I put Bribery 101 with creativity because it does get creative. Visible bribes, invisible bribes, camouflage bribes. So usually the visible bribe is like an iceberg. The part that you see is only 10% of the entire bribe. 90% of the iceberg is below the water and can't be seen. So that's basically all I wanted to say there. Yeah. China. So yeah, does China make your favorite? So what is bad about China? Like, this makes my favorite fortune cookies, and isn't the Great Wall of China beautiful? And what could be bad about China, right? So, bang! I'm just gonna hit you with the hardest thing here that I could possibly, so you just understand right away exactly why. Forced organ harvesting. Just knock out of your chairs here for a second. There's too many people who are complacent when it comes to China. Certain Western companies suck up to them, or there's apologists to China. I consider them to be like Nazi collaborators. So in the comments, you can name all the CCP collaborators if you like. Definitely Tim Cook is one of them. So what does it say here? So 1988 and 2015 supports the inference that transplant surgeons in the People's Republic of China, PRC, removed organs, including hearts and lungs, in violation of the internationally accepted dead donor rule, before donors have been or could be declared brain dead. The PRC is widely alleged to be a major harvester and trafficker of forcibly acquired organs. Available information indicates that the Falun Gong practitioners have been the primary victims of this cruel practice. This used to be like some kind of a religion where you have meditation and things like that. And so, yeah, they were picked on quite a bit, and a lot of bad things were done. And there are now allegations that imprisoned Uyghurs, it's more recent now, and other ethnic religious minorities are also victims based in part on accounts of mandatory medical testing in Xinjiang, consistent with preparation for organ removal. And this is peer review. This is actually Human Rights Commission.house.gov. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, here's this. I just want to point this guy out. He's great. Leo Y, 86. Actually spent over a decade there in China, and he compares China basically to
authoritarian one-party states. There is no free participation.
So this is what he's saying about
from citizens unless they hold positions of power in the government. Yes, this is true, and the party structure is strict.
So yeah, he gets into more details. He's got all the fun details about that. But you check out his show. Shout out to them. They do a great job. Also, the video on the China show. He's together with a friend of his, and I was astounded to find out that there are no social programs in China. So it's all about control and power over the masses. One of the characteristics of fascist states is censorship and propaganda. So China is like an Orwellian nightmare, where they get you to believe, you know, up is down, down is up. In our society as well, too. I mean, things like men can have children and things like that. Everyone should read George Orwell's book. It's called 1984, or at least be familiar with the contents. So 1984, the book, I believe, illustrates the ultimate goal of this psychopathic type fascism. So, and so this is why. Oh yeah, psychopathic. So this video here is called "The Ending of American Psycho." Finally explained. It's a movie. Actually, it's American Psycho. Feed me a stray cat. All right, let's just have this play here, I guess. Yeah, so there's psychopaths in all societies. In fact, approximately 5% of the population. So narcissists is what I have experience with. They're a short step away from being psychopaths. They act remarkably similar, have the same traits as this anti-hero of the movie. They lack the usual like moral sense, have no guilt or shame. They're in front of the mirror oftentimes, so they're admiring themselves. What they're actually doing is practicing facial expressions. So they need to make fake emotions so they can fool people to think they're humans. The psychopath may actually become extremely successful and rise to the top of society. So that's the question. Are these fascists, governments around the world, a conglomeration, in fact, of this psychologically afflicted type people? And is the real danger of the world and human development this type of top-down style fascist government? So it's a great movie if you have a chance to watch it. There it is. He made a great Batman, Christian Bale. So the next question is, so what did, and I'm trying to tie a bunch of things in here because it's not just, you know, just one topic. It's actually geopolitical and you can see it from different angles. and so that's why I'm doing this here. So I might be covering a lot of things quite quickly, just to tie everything in. So what did China get for its bribery money? And how does that reflect in the U.S. administration's policies? And how long has it been going on? So here's a video here. It's by DailyWire Plus. A bill couldn't allow China to infiltrate the United States. It was actually, from 1994. Should we play a clip here?
Talk about the global economy. What they really mean is cheap labor and free trade. The globalist leaders in the West understood that communist China would be the centerpiece of a global economic system. Why? Because of a large, cheap pool of labor under the control of an authoritarian regime. And so in 1994, Bill Clinton's China policy decoupled human rights and trade. In 2000,
Yeah, this whole thing was called Chinagate, and there was allegations as well. In the newspaper would pop up, but then it would disappear, right? So it's hard to track. Anyway, so this is from 1994. The video seems like yesterday to me, an over 50 honky, and that's really why we're dangerous. Some millennials are freaking out right now. We used to have phones on walls with numbers that you had to memorize in your brain. Yeah. So I just want to mention about internet transparency. So it was easy, back in the day, to get away with things before, bad things. The 1980s and 1990s, criminals like this one, like this one, or like this one, or like these guys, basically could get away with whatever they wanted. And they're here now in the post-internet world, continuing to try and operate. But where we see you, right? So we're still, unfortunately, 3 steps behind them. But let's act now, because we can still do something. So basically, we've been decades making China rich beyond belief. So how is it that I can, if I look, and I did this when I was a kid too, the same thing decades ago. That's my point, is I could take like pretty much everything off my table and then look at the label at the bottom of it or whatever. It says made in China, that's made in China. Here's a candle. This is made in China. Why would a candle need to be made in China? I don't get it. This mouse says made in China on it. Where's my keyboard? So this keyboard says made in China. Oh, I'm turning invisible. Okay, so
key moment in U.S.-China relations. China's
that was a key time for it to start playing automatically on its own. So even though they're not from China, like Logitech, this particular keyboard is from Logitech, and the company is from Switzerland, and they still desire a manufacturing plant in China. So the illusion of the 1.4 billion population size markets is of great allure to them, but really their stuff is going to be stolen. Their IPs are going to be, their intellectual property is going to be stolen. Their patents are going to be stolen. Technology is going to be stolen. And you continue making China super rich. So I'll mention both Apple and Nike have manufacturing plants in China. If you want to mention in the comments other trader companies that have sold us out, in the comments section we can just create a list of traders if you want. So yeah, this is all the products here. Logitech, made in, they're even proud, made in China, right? Oh, I do have a speaker. This is Alltech. It's like an Alltech speaker. Alltech Lansing is United States Audio Electronics company, founded in 1927. And as far as I can see, I do a search on their website. I cannot find the word China anywhere. So that's good news. Yeah. Here's the Alliance for American Manufacturing. Oh, it's all good. All kinds of things on here. 2.7 million jobs lost between 2001 and 2011. It's still years later. 2.1 million in manufacturing alone. More than 100 U.S. jobs were displaced for every actual promised job created through Walmart's Investing in American Jobs initiative. Something in purple here. In America, estimates say that Chinese suppliers make up 70 to 80% of Walmart's merchandise, leaving less than 20% for American-made products. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is got to change. It's got to change. So, and the good news, and here, okay, anyway, this is for another, that's for another time, I guess. We'll get this $113 billion. We're just taking our tax money and going over there. But anyway, I'll leave you with some good news. Good news, though, possibly. America's on the verge of the next industrial revolution. Maybe. The forces of fascism here in this country are blocking it. So there would be a 5-year transition time. It has to be managed correctly. And certainly not by an administration that is controlled and easily bribed by the CPP. CCP. At the same time, China is working quickly to export its fascism to other countries, including America. Already too late for NATO. NATO is just so far gone. Like, Italy may be their only hope for freedom and democracy. And with that, that's 50 minutes. Gosh, I should go. So I hope you enjoyed that. And definitely like and subscribe. The usual yada yada, or don't, maybe. And then, yeah, there's going to be a ton of these. There's going to be so much information coming out. Look for more and more videos coming out. Yeah, and I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.